Evening. Good evening. Thank you to everybody who made this event a possibility. I am very excited about this night. There's going to be a great night of tough questions and heated competition. We got a great night for you all. But before we get into the meat of the matter, I just wanted to give you guys a brief presentation on the upcoming referendum next week. So this debate is for the upcoming election for candidates, but this referendum will deal with fee changes as well as constitutional amendments to our student body constitution. So let's just get into that for about 10 minutes before we go into the debate. So the first referendum will be on constitutional amendments. So there are three amendments, Amendment B, C, and D. And you'll notice that the letter corresponding to the amendment is what we named it. So Amendment B we called basket, because it's kind of just a basket of a bunch of different changes. It involves basically a lot of typographical consistency and capitalization errors that we found in the document. It removes specific officer positions from the Constitution so we can have more flexibility in deciding what positions will be from year to year. It sets 4-year term limits on ASG officers, changing it from 3. And we are trying to get rid of the requirement that our student senate meets every Friday at 9 a.m. We just want to change it to a minimum of once a week so that the Senate can have more flexibility in deciding when it's going to meet. We're also removing the distinction between different kinds of students in our student body. Right now, there are active, honorary, and general students. We're just trying to change it to every student is a member of the student body, every enrolled student, so that there's no distinction, everyone's on the same level there. Amendment C is about clubs. We want to incorporate clubs into the AS Constitution. Right now, there's no mention of clubs or the Interclub Council in there, and we want to make sure that for many decades to come, clubs will remain a fundamental part of the student fabric on campus. So we're enshrining that into our AS Constitution, as well as the Interclub Council. The Interclub Council is a body of a representative from each and every club, and we are granting the Interclub Council new legislative powers to propose legislation to the student government, which is very exciting. Amendment D is about direct action. So our Constitution was written in 1961, when our student body was only about a couple thousand students. So it made sense that you would need 10% of the student body to propose important legislation, or recall an officer, or to propose a constitutional amendment, or to trigger a referendum. But so 10% of 2,000 is 200. But today, 10% of 15,000 students, it's just 1,500 students. It's just too many students. So what we're trying to do, we wanted to reduce the threshold of the number of students necessary to actually get stuff going directly. So if students feel that they want to take action without the student government, this is how they could do so. So reducing those thresholds dramatically, from 10% to 1% to propose legislation, from 10% to 5% to trigger a referendum, from 20 to 5 to recall an officer, and from 10 to 5 to propose a constitutional amendment. So the second referendum on next week's ballot is a fee change and increase. There has been a slight change from when we proposed this last week. Fee change 1 is no longer on the ballot, so we'll just talk about fee change 2. Fee change 2 is just to increase the current student activities fee, which is $5 to $9. The current $5, the student government doesn't receive a penny of that. So what we want to do is we want to increase it by $4, and those $4 will be allocated into the general fund of the associate student government. And it's really exciting what we can spend this money on. Basically, we could start supporting any student program that the students tell us they need. For other decision makers on campus, it's kind of hard to get money flowing to places that it needs to go. But when this money is in student hands, students can go to their student representatives, they can tell them, we need funds for this, we need club grants, we want extended library hours, we want student legal support, we want a concert, we want textbook grants, and the student government can appropriate those funds much more quickly. And so I think it's really important that we have this budget coming up in future semesters. So I encourage you all to vote yes on fee change 2. You can vote starting Monday, April 24th at 8 a.m. And it'll end Thursday, April 27th at 4 p.m. And voting is at sbcc.edu/vote. So I would now like to invite Shahrazad Breedlove to the stage to sing the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem. Shahrazad?
to see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you so much, Shaz. I would now like to introduce you to your moderators for the night. Please welcome Julia Compitelli Pizza, news editor of the Channel student newspaper here at Santa Barbara City College. As well as Alyssa Durant, editor-in-chief of the Channel's newspaper. Next, we have our student trustee candidates. First off, we have Parker Mitchell, endorsed by the Economic Club of Santa Barbara. And next, we have David Panbecci, endorsed by LGBT Plus Club, Feminist Club, Our Revolution, Computer Science Club, and Mind Over Ministries Club. Everyone, have a great night and keep it cool.
Okay, so we're going to start by announcing the rules. These rules will apply to each position's debate.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Dylan and the entire ASG for putting this all together today.
And the Channels is very grateful for being able to moderate the event, so thank you all for coming.
Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question.
The student trustee and the vice president of external affairs will have 3 questions each, and the presidential candidates will have 5 questions each.
The same questions will be asked to each candidate in every position. The order in which the candidates respond will be announced by Julia and I on the spot.
The questions will only be said once. We will display the question on the screen above, but if you cannot see the question from up there, you have a notepad in front of you to jot down the question in case you forget. Also, at the very end of all the debates, we're going to have a chance for everyone to ask follow-up questions. So over there by Brianna and Emily in the corner, they have little note cards if you want to write questions down on them. There's going to be 5-minute intermissions between the debates where you can drop the cards off at them so they can pass the cards out to us at the end so we can ask the questions.
So let's get started. The first question, Parker will be the first to answer, and then David. As student trustee, transparency is an essential part of the job. What steps will you take to make sure your role as a liaison between the student government and the Board of Trustees is done accurately?
First of all, I'd like to thank ASG for putting this on. I'd like to thank you all for being here. I think the number one concern with good government is that we need to be accountable to the students. And I don't think the best way to do that is to pay students through stipends. I think that's wrong, and that's one of the main reasons I've gotten involved in this, is because I'm opposed to student stipends. I'm opposed to stipends for ASG officers, and I personally pledge to donate my salary as student trustee back to the SBCC Foundation. I think that's the most important thing, is good government. I also want to interact with students as much as possible. We need to inform, the student trustee needs to attend every ASG meeting so they can inform them of the policies that are going on, so they can tell the students what best needs to happen.
Thank you. David?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. I want to thank the channels and Dylan for setting this great event up. Inherently, the student trustee is the gap between the board of trustees, which makes all of the decisions on this campus, basically, and between the ASG. So the student trustee has to report every single week. Something that has troubled me this semester particularly is that there have been decisions that have been made that students just don't know about. For example, there was a $31 per unit increase in tuition for out-of-state students. And when I found that out, I asked, because I used to be out of state, so it affects a lot of people. And so I asked the students in my classrooms, did you know about this? And they said we had no idea. So I think that there needs to be greater student involvement. The platform that I'm running on, the umbrella of the issues that I'll be addressing is a students' movement. What that means is that hundreds of students, we have 14,000 students, hundreds if not thousands of students need to be involved in the shared governance process. And so as a student trustee, not only will I serve as a liaison between the Board of Trustee and the ASG, but I will have greater student involvement from the student leaders on our campus. Thank you.
So for the second question, it's going to start with David and then go to Parker. You kind of already touched on this, but I'm still going to ask the question. Early in the semester, there was controversy regarding the student government trying to provide themselves with stipends. If you were elected and this conversation came up again, how would you respond?
So I have to be completely honest, I voted for the stipends. But I have two arguments that I feel like have not been conveyed to students. The first is the moral aspect. There are many low-income students that can't serve on the ASG because they work. Some students work full-time, and so they don't have the time to actually serve our students. What the stipends, if you have 5 hours at your work, you make $10 an hour. Instead of working there, come and serve the students. So I think that that's the moral aspect. We have some students on the ASG right now that are low income. They haven't been able to put the time in to adequately represent our students. And that's the first point. The second point is that a stipend would give leverage to the students that do represent the student body adequately. Just an example is I've been pushing for every single ASG member to table for 1 hour a week. I think that when you have a time when students just don't know that ASG exists, they don't know what we've been doing, and so tabling is the most efficient way to get out there and talk to students, hear their concerns. What I did was I interviewed 20 students in the library. Every single one of them had no idea who we were, except for the stipend controversy, which was 2 of those students. And so in this semester, trying to push the representatives to actually table, it's been kind of difficult because this is a volunteer position. But if there is stipends, then I would be able to say, guys, this is your job. You're getting paid, so do your job. I think that would give greater leverage for our representatives to do a better job.
I absolutely disagree. If you need a salary to leverage you to be a student government officer or to you to be a student government officer, you shouldn't be running for the ASG. I am absolutely opposed to even the student trustee getting a salary. That's why I will work to either A, eliminate the student trustee's salary, or B, if they refuse to do such, I would promise to donate my salary. You shouldn't need motivation from a salary to serve students. That simple.
Thank you, guys. And so the third and final question, Parker will answer first again, and then David. Do you trust your federal government? Why or why not? Go.
It depends. For example, my family served in the military, and I trust them. My uncle's a fighter pilot in the Air Force. I trust him. My father served as a flight surgeon in the U.S. Army. I trust him. But do I agree with most of the policies of the Trump administration? Absolutely not. I think we need to work to protect undocumented students on campus and protect free speech rights here on campus. So no, I do not currently trust our federal government.
David?
Do I trust our federal government? Our government, in my view, and I think this is the view of many people, is that it is not an adequate representation. My personal view is that our government is actually an oligarchy and not a democracy. What that means is that it represents a few people, the lobbyists. For example, I mean, this is actually perfect question at the perfect time a couple weeks ago. And we met with lobbying firms, met with different politicians, and I asked them, you know, does money in politics have an effect on legislation? And all I've been getting was questions getting dodged, sometimes even silenced. And then I, went to Subway one day after 6 p.m., and it literally looked like a nuclear bomb hit Sacramento. It looked like there was a zombie apocalypse. There were people talking to themselves. I mean, it just looked like a mess. And I asked myself, who are these people's lobbyists? Who are these people's representatives? So no, I don't trust our federal government, but for a very specific reason. Not because they're crazy, not because they, as Trump says, just misinformed, but because they have a particular agenda that doesn't fit the rest of the population.
Thank you.
So now we'll give each of you a 1-minute session just to give your final closing statements before we bring up the next candidates. So we'll start with you, Parker.
What this job requires is clear, level-headed thinking. And I'm proud to say that I believe I have that. Disappointingly enough, distressingly enough, I don't think my opponent has that. As many of you are aware, a couple of weeks ago, Bashar al-Assad launched a chemical weapons attack on the civilians in Idlib province. The entire world condemned this, and it was a horrific act committed by his dictatorship. Behind its occurrence were Russia and Syria. Disappointingly enough, my opponent joins them in not believing it occurred. He actually believes in a more deranged theory. He believes that the United States committed this chemical weapons attack. Being passed around to you right now are a series of Facebook posts he made where this will be confirmed. That is not an example of clear, level-headed thinking. For that reason, no, I believe that I should be elected student trustee and not my opponent.
Okay, so I'm going to just quiet everyone down now so we can give David a chance to respond.
I'd like to respond to that point and then move on to what I would do for the students.
Okay, can everyone please just quiet down, please?
David's trying to talk.
The Syrian attack, or the attack on the Syrian people, the source cited by the United States was the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights is a one-man organization located in London. That is where we got our information from. So if you have a works cited page, for what's this chemical attack, who caused it, it would be one person. And so no, I don't, and again, this goes back to trust in the federal government. I don't trust our federal government because they said that we had weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and we didn't. And then we launched a 15-year war, which almost every single person has backtracked as saying that that was a mistake. So that's on that point. On what I would do for the students, I have built a coalition with different clubs on campus to build a network of student board that is elected by Santa Barbara residents and not by the students. And so sometimes they don't have the best intentions of the students in mind, they have the intentions of the community in mind. And so what we need to do is have a movement of students coming into every single meeting of the Board of Trustees whenever there's a big vote, for example, gender-neutral restrooms, and to voice our concerns. There has been fear that students haven't been represented, and I believe that I can build this coalition and make our voices heard. Thank you.
Can I say something real quick? There's a difference
We don't have
between
time to add more comments. I'm sorry.
Thank you all. There will be a 5-minute intermission, so we'll see you in 5 minutes. Help yourself to some pizza. Thank you so much. Now for the vice presidential debate. Please welcome your first candidate, Maite Nieblis, endorsed by the Economic Club of Santa Barbara and the Computer Science Club. Next is Matthew Esquera, endorsed by Students Sustainability Coalition, SBCC Astronomy Club, Italian Club, Earth Day Club, Botany Club, Feminist Club, LGBT Plus Club, Creative Writing Club, and Economics Club. And last but not least, we have Tamara Lulendo Mozzolo, endorsed by Ethnic Studies Club and EOPS. Enjoy the debate.
Thank you.
Okay, so the same rules apply as I stated before. So we're going to start off. The first question is for you, Maite. Why did you decide to run for Vice President of External Affairs rather than Vice President of Internal Affairs? How do these positions differ in terms of responsibility?
The reason why I chose to run for external affairs rather than internal affairs was because I believe that I am fit for this position, as I've had prior experience with leadership all throughout my high school, middle school, and elementary years. I chose external affairs rather than internal affairs because I believe that I have the experience and knowledge to be the voice and representation of the students as well as the entire students of all California community colleges. The difference between these two is the internal affairs is here to represent, the internal affairs is like the overall problems and things with the students, and the difference is, and then the external affairs would be the voice and representation of all students at the school and outside of school. And that is the reason why. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next to answer is Matt. Feel free to answer the question either addressing your candidate's response or creating your own response.
Okay. All right. So first off, internal affairs, this is purely just from me sitting on ASG and witnessing the difference. Internal affairs is a pragmatic position. You are making sure the gears are working within the ASG. You're making sure that the ASG is doing what it needs to be doing. It needs to be sitting on its committees. You need to be tabling each week. You need to be turning in your officer reports on Friday mornings. You need to be showing up. What internal, thank you, Josh. What internal affairs does is it makes sure that the ASG is working. What Vice President of External Affairs does is it differs greatly. You're essentially the diplomat for Santa Barbara City College on the statewide level. This first means representing Santa Barbara City College in Region 6. This includes 12 different California community colleges within the area. After that, you go to a monthly meeting with the SSCCC, and what that is you're reviewing resolutions, and you're just kind of touching base and seeing maybe approving different assembly bills and Senate bills. So I believe I have the knowledge in regards to state politics to propel myself forward in this position. This summer, I will be working in a full-time capacity in the state legislature, and beyond that, I will be working within the Higher Education Committee, which is very pertinent to Santa Barbara City College, as we are a higher education institution. So to circle back around, internal affairs and external affairs are vastly different. External affairs, you're basically a politician in some sense. You're representing. Internal affairs, that's just pragmatic day-to-day things. Anyways, thank you.
Okay, Tamara, go ahead.
So why did I choose to be Vice President of External Affairs, not internal? Because first of all, I'm an international student, and I feel like we don't have the voice out there. We need someone to go out there and talking about the issues on our schools that we international students are facing. Recently, we had a tuition increasement that no international student knew about, which is not good. Someone needs to be out there and know what's going on and come and talk to the international students. And internal affairs is more about what's going on in the school. And I want to focus on what's going on in the school and bring it out So we have a voice that goes out and talking about the problems, not just like focusing on the problem at the school at the same time outside the school. That's why. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I respond?
We don't have enough time for that right now. I'm going to go through all of the questions, and if we have enough time in this segment, then we can
Thank
go
you.
for rebuttals.
Second question, first to answer is going to be Tamara, then Maite, then Matt. As VP of External Affairs, your job primarily deals with statewide community college that you will be focusing on during your term if you're elected.
Right now, my focus is on this tuition increasement that happened. Like, we need to do something about that. They cannot just take decisions behind our backs. They need to concern us and see, like, we are students. Like, we pay a lot. We need opportunities. We need jobs. We cannot work at school because not all the jobs employ international students. So we need jobs. We need more because we pay a lot of money. It's not just like $100. We pay a lot. They need to give us more opportunities that shows that can help us if they want us to pay so much. Like, we need more work experience for what we pay, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, sorry.
Thank you. Maite?
So one important statewide issue that has came to my attention, not just now, but overall, is immigration rights for students. Many students at CC, as well as all other community colleges, are being deprived of their rights in school and as well outside of school in regards to the community. And I believe that as a representative, I would like to fight for the rights of students. I would like to give them the voice as well, because they do have the voice even as immigrants, and I would like to bring this to as well.
Thank you. Matt?
I love state politics, and that's exactly why I'm running for this position. There's an assembly bill right now. It's called Assembly Bill 10, and what it will be doing is it's actually on its second reading right now. It hasn't reached its third reading, and which means it's a vote. So it's still going through the process. But what this bill would do is it would require all California colleges to implement feminine hygiene products within their bathrooms. So it's going to take a while, and I think that this is something that should immediately happen. So actually, even without me being elected, I'm going to be working on this issue. I will draft up the board policy that will resolve to fix this problem on SBCCs, because I don't believe we should wait around for this assembly bill to get passed. No way. What we can do is we can start working on it right now, get it passed through all the shared governance levels, and then get it through the Board of Trustees by the end of summer. And that way, by fall of 2017, menstruation hygiene products will be in all bathrooms, gender neutral and feminine. Thank you. Beyond that, I just want to see where the need is in California community colleges. Santa Barbara City College is the hallmark California community college. We are #1 consistently every single year. I don't see why we're not the most progressive campus and why we're not making the most amount of difference in the Student Senate for California Community College. I think that with our numbers, our prestige, that we should be pumping out legislation year after year in the General Assembly that takes place at the end of the fall semester and the spring semester. So I want to make us more of a legislative body. And again, it's just finding the need. Beyond my menstruation hygiene product thing, we'll just call it a thing. Why not?
You have 10 seconds, by the way.
Okay, it's just looking for the need in California community colleges and then going out and making sure that it gets solved. Thank you.
Okay, and the last question. It starts with Matt, then Tamara, then Maite. What 3 personal qualities make you a good candidate for this position? And you can start now.
Diplomacy. I know how to handle myself in professional situations. I know how to talk to politicians. I will be working on a full-time basis through summer with politicians. And what this job requires is working with politicians. I'll have that diplomacy again to lobby for Student Senate for California Community Colleges within the connections I make over summer. Beyond that, I have the institutional knowledge to get things done. I know how to draft a board policy. I know where the shared governance levels are. I know how to push the agenda that I want to push. Beyond that, I think I'm a pretty personal person, and I don't know if I can be objective in that way, but I think I'm pretty easy to talk to. I think that a lot of people here know me personally. I think that I'm great at just getting to know people. Again, I'm circling, I'm begging the question because I'm nervous. But you see, we got myself and Christian Walk, who is my running mate, that we know how to interact with these people. We know how to find the need, and we know how to improve our campus as a whole. So again, I think it's just this ability to talk to people, and I don't care because I'm like in this debate and I'm being so like unprofessional, but in the same regard, I can be professional and I can interact with people, and I see people like responding kind of positively to it. I hope the people on the stream see that, but again, thank you.
Well, why my personal qualities is I'm good with people. I know my goals. I know what I want to reach, and I know how I'm going to reach it. I'm not scared for anything. And then since I am bicultural, so I don't just have one culture to look at. I have a broad culture to compare that can help me to see different different way to reach my goals, which is good, I think. And then I'm international student. We need someone out there that is international, that really know the issue, that really go through all these international students are going through. And I think that's why I'm good. Thank you.
I believe studies make me fit for this position because I'm a very passionate person, and if you're very passionate, you can find other passionate people to accomplish your goal. Apart from that, I want to say that I was part of creating the Energy Club for my school that created a long-lasting effect on the school as well as the community. We had a 385 kilowatt display of solar panels that now makes our high school 100% energy efficient. From this, I would like to poll and create solutions or propose ideas in order for our school to be more energy efficient. If we could get CC to be 100% energy efficient, that would be amazing. Another thing is I'm very educationally disciplined. I accomplish everything I need to get done all the time. I'm part of the honors program. I've been accepted to the Phi Theta Kappa, which I am very thankful for. I'm a very respectful individual as well, and I feel like it's very easy for other people to talk to me. So if anyone has any plans, solutions, I feel like I would be the person to come and talk to about. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We're going to have another,
Yeah, okay, so we do have time for the 1-minute responses. You can either give your closing statement, or if you do have a response to one of your candidates' responses, you can do that. But we'll go ahead and start with Matt since you were second. Okay, go ahead.
First off, in regards to the tuition increase, that's actually more in relation to the student trustee position. If you want more of a say in that regard, I think that would be the best position. Beyond that, I also have the background of searching for equity. I'm an ACLU member, so I firmly have rejected the Trump administration's infringement upon civil liberties. I fully believe in the liberties of people, and even going along with that, I want to create a student rights packet that explicates what you are entitled to. There's a situation last month where students' rights were infringed upon, and this basically guaranteed this kid was getting an F. And it's absolutely ludicrous. I think we should have our rights explicated out. I believe that we should have our information explicated out. I want you guys to know exactly where to go for what you need. How to start a club. Where do I even find out
you have 10 seconds.
Where clubs meet? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Tamara, you can start.
Oh, vote for me. Sorry, I don't know what to say.
I would like to say that I'm also fit for this position because I was president of my high school class all throughout high school. I was there to support the school, and any problems our class had, we would go to the Board of Ed. We would come up with different plans and solutions in order to accomplish these community problems and issues. So, vote for me.
Thank you, candidates. Now we're going to continue with another 5-minute intermission to get the presidential debate set up.
Christian Walk 2017.
for the presidential debate. All right, first off, we have Charlotte Donnet-Rochard, endorsed by Astronomy Club, Chemistry Club, Physics Club, Neuro Club, Mathematics Club, Society of Women in Engineering at SBCC, Computer Science Club, Competitive Programming Club, Computer Engineering Club, Women in Science and Engineering Club, Ethics for the 21st Century Club, a club called Marmalade, Adventure Club, and Hiking Club. Next, we have Christian Walk, endorsed by the Student Sustainability Coalition, SBCC Italian Club, Earth Day Club, Botany Club, Feminist Club, LGBT Plus Club. Next, we have Imran Akram, endorsed by Math Club and LGBTQ Plus Club. And last but not least, Zora Mahaley, endorsed by the SBCC basketball team and 2020 Year Without War. Good luck and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Okay, so for this section, we are going to ask you guys the questions, but at the very end, we do have personal questions for each of you that we have mapped out. So that's going to be not an everybody answer question, but more focused to each person. So we'll start with just the everyone questions first.
So for this first one, the order is going to go Zora, Charlotte, Christian, Imran. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. What is the role of the student president, and how will you succeed in this role?
Okay, first and foremost, I would just like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and for hosting such a cool and amazing event. Well, the role of the student president for ASG is to just represent all the students here. We have to represent every single person to make sure their voices are heard. School in itself, with state issues, state community college meetings, and so the president just needs to be someone who's experienced, someone who can voice the issues within the community. And I believe that I'm the right fit for this job. I have a lot of qualifications. I've embodied like the average SBC student in numerous ways. I've been a student athlete here, juggling time commitments with going to school, with going to practices. I've also been a student with 18 units in a part-time job, like lucky to get 4 hours of sleep a night. I just feel like I have a good understanding of government. I'm a political science student. I have background experience in political science. I've held internships and volunteer experience through Congress, our U.S. State Congress, under Senator Jim Webb, also Senator Kane. So I really think that I can voice the opinions of the student body and help represent our school.
Thank you. Charlotte?
As a student president, I feel our role is to bring the students together, listen to them, and act on what they're telling us, what they need, what they want. I think we have to coordinate the student senate, make sure everybody is working along together on the need of the students. SBCC is an amazing campus. It's amazing. We have an amazing student population. We have amazing professor. We have some student president should just like bring more. We have so much on this campus, but there are a lot of stuff that could be improved. And I feel that's the job of a student president, is be like, guys, this is amazing, but we can do better. We can bring more stuff. We can give you more resources. So I think that's the job of a student president. Yeah, that would be.
Thank you. And I just want to encourage all candidates to use all the 2 minutes that you have and get as much as you can in this small section you have to answer. So, to carry on, Christian.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I'd like to thank the candidates here. It takes a lot of nerve to get up on stage and talk. My name is Christian Walk, and I'm running for ASG president because I believe that the student government here at SBCC needs to be working for all the students, especially the students who feel like their voices are being left out of the conversation. I think the role of an ASG president is twofold. One is to listen first and figure out where the problems are, locate them, and address them. And secondly, it's getting more students involved in the political process here on campus. My time on ASG, first as secretary, then as commissioner of academics, has given me the experience and knowledge I believe, to lead ASG in a positive and productive direction. Thanks to the leadership of our current president, the ASG has broadened its scope by allowing more people to be involved in the decision-making process. Continuing along this path, I'd like to further participation within student government, not just increasing the voter turnout rate, but encouraging students to serve on campus-wide and internal ASG committees, and not just serving as in giving their opinion, but having a legitimate vote with power behind it. In order for student government to be effective, it needs students behind it. As David has already pointed out, we need a students' movement, an initiative to bind together a diverse set of groups and people on campus in order to reach our common goals. I believe ASG can be the catalyst for this movement, but it will require reaching out and incorporating more students into the political process. I have a proven voting record when it comes to environmental projects, supporting clubs, supporting scholarships, academic grants, educational and recreational events here on campus, and LGBT plus rights. My help is to help foster an ASG
You have 10 seconds.
and a campus environment that stresses student empowerment, unity, and solidarity, and looking out for those who might not
Your
feel.
time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Imran?
Hello. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for being here, especially on this special day. I know you could have done many other things. Well, first, the role of the student president is to chair the Senate, be the representative for the student body, participate in shared governance, board of trustees, and academic senate, and basically make a difference on campus. That's why I decided to run. And the way I'm going to succeed is focus on my major goals. I have 3 major goals when I'm president: community, athletics, and academics. For community, I'm going to make sure everyone feels safe and welcome on campus. I support the multi-stall, gender-neutral bathrooms. And for athletics, I'm going to propose a fee, much like the bus fee, where we can pay a voluntary fee and then use the gym on campus or the basketball courts on campus. I mean, there's so many students here who want to use the gym, but they have to pay $100 downtown just to get a workout or just to play basketball. As far as academics, I'm going to make more opportunity for students to tutor by students for students. I mean, we have so many talented students like Charlotte, who I know is a great math tutor. Myself, I think we can tutor ourselves and we can do a good job there. As well as more events, like tomorrow there's a conference on change. More events like that. I mean, we need to get more people involved and just be a representative for the students. I'm here to listen to you and attend your club meetings and try to make a difference. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so for this next question, then Imran, then Zora, and then Charlotte. If elected president, you will have many responsibilities overseeing the student government and all campus committees. How do you plan on managing your time to do so successfully while staying on top of personal responsibilities, academics, and being actively engaged in the student body?
It's a great question because being on ASG, especially the role of the presidency, takes a lot of time out of your week. Just my role as commissioner of academics, I serve on multiple internal committees, academic, sustainability, events. Additionally, you have to serve on external campus-wide committees. I serve on planning and resources committee, and I serve on academic policy committee. And also, you have to go to your normal ASG meetings on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. and then executive meetings at Monday at 5:30. So it's a lot of work, but I think that I've juggled that so far this year fairly well. I've been able to stay on top of my classes and be actively engaged within the ASG. I've actually not missed one executive or ASG meeting this entire year. I'm a committed person. Once I've once I've decided to go onto a board, I'm going to do everything I can and everything in my power to put all the work that I can into making that board as prosperous as it could possibly be. In terms of the different projects I'm trying to work on here on campus, our sustainability committee right now, chaired by Jackson Hayes, is doing an incredible job right now in trying to bring awareness to the environmental problems of our day. Through their different subcommittees, energy, water consumption, trash, different ways to make our campus more sustainable. In regards to the referendum that's going to be coming up and the fee changes, I do agree with Dylan that the ASG needs a steady flow of revenue in order to support the various programs that we're trying to do. What that means is increasing club grants, keeping the library open for extended hours, maybe 24 if we can possibly do that, and just being able to support all of our other great programs, bringing a music event here on campus, a concert that we tried desperately to do this past year with our music event committee, but just continuously ran into budgetary problems. Bringing a student legal advisor onto campus so that students can come and discuss their legal problems without having to be charged $100 an hour, I think is very important. And besides that, the student housing crisis in Santa Barbara is out of control. Our student housing committee is trying to push the board and push the city in a direction that will allow student housing here on campus. I'm very much in favor of that and will continue to support the committee's efforts. Thank you.
Well, as to how I'll manage my time, just by working harder, dedicating myself to the role. I currently have to pursue a career as an amateur boxer as well as a student. So if I can do that and I can add this as well, I'm confident that I can work hard at it and I can do well at it as well. So that's how I'm going to manage my time. As far as housing is concerned, I totally agree. I think 2 of my roommates are here who with me were almost homeless for a week, and we had to go through, the worst tension in not knowing where we were going to live. So I'm going to be working with the housing committee, working very hard to fix the problem of housing.
I'm more than confident in my ability to manage my time as ASG president. I have a lot of practice with time management skills. As I mentioned before, as a student athlete, that's hard to manage your full course load along with practices and going to games and overnight tournaments, with working a job too with 18 units. So I'm very confident in my skills with my time management. However, I think that as president, you can help everyone else manage their time better in a more effective manner. That's what really matters. So your time management, I can help you improve your time management. We can improve parking here so you can leave later to school. We can work to improve housing so you don't need to live so far off of campus just so you can afford to be in Santa Barbara to go to school. We can help with travel from IV to Santa Barbara. I know sometimes the buses take forever, they're late, they're not, because they're late, you might have to go on the 15X before your class, hours before, just in case it might be late and you don't want to show up to class late. And so there's a lot of different things that I can do as president and collectively as a student body that we can help everyone be able to manage their time more effectively here.
So I think I would be good at managing my time if I were to get elected, because I'm currently taking 2 of the hardest math classes on campus, as well as physics and English. On top of that, I'm working and I'm running this campaign, which hasn't been easy every day. I'm also showing up to clubs meeting. As you might have heard, I had 16 clubs supporting me, so I think that shows my engagement with those clubs. So all of those things are taking a lot of time right now, and that's my toughest semester. picked up an application from Amy earlier in the semester because I wanted to run for Student Senate this semester, and I ended up not turning it in because I was like, semester, I won't have time to dedicate to the Student Senate, so it wouldn't be honest to apply for it. But I told her, I'll come back at the end of the semester and I'll apply for next semester because in the fall of 2017, I'll have time to dedicate to the Student Senate, and this is what I want to do next semester. I want to keep getting involved. I've been involved with our current administration working on sustainability issues and on the parking issue, as you guys have mentioned, which is really bad right now. To be honest, there is not much we can do in terms, I'm not going to lie, we cannot build more parking spaces. Saying something else, something different would be a lie. What we can do is incite students to commute differently, to take the bus, ride their bike. This is why we have BC Central on campus. So that's one of the things I would really like to keep working on. The second committee I've been involved with was the food committee. We've been working on promoting more vegan options because as a vegan, I know Dylan is my vegan brother. I was very happy to hear you're vegan too, because it's not always easy to eat on campus when you're vegan, and sometimes you just have to starve. So I would keep working with the food services and bringing more vegan options, more affordable options, because the cafeteria right now can be quite expensive. And when you're a student like me, I arrive on campus every day at 8 a.m. and I have class every day until 8 p.m. So I have no choice. I have to eat on campus. And it's not always easy. Sometimes I don't find options, and it's expensive. And I know I'm not the only. Thanks.
Question number 3. What is one thing the current ASG president did successfully this term? Why do you think this quality led to his success as student government president? The order to be answered is Imran, Zora, Charlotte, Christian.
Well, I think Dylan did a good job serving on committees, everything that the president should do. To be honest, I didn't follow the student government that much. I don't know if many of you on campus did. I honestly didn't even know that it existed. But as far as I just got to know this semester, but from meeting him and reading about him and his opinions on campus through the channels, I think he did a good job, and yeah, thank you.
Zora?
Well, when I first became a student here, fall 2015, I wanted to be a part of Student Senate. I got my 200 signatures, went around talking to every single student, seeing what they would like to be improved at this school. But unfortunately, I was not appointed to be a part of Student Senate. And I know as a freshman, I was heartbroken. I was confused. I was frustrated how I couldn't be be involved within ASG. I know at this appointment, the people who were appointed were the people who hugged their friends beforehand, who were also the people who were doing the appointments of who would get what parts in Student Senate. And so I thought this was kind of unfair and weird that I couldn't find a way for myself to be involved. But then Dylan did something great this year, I've noticed. He added so many committees, and he emailed the whole entire student body and let them know about the committees. He said that anyone can be a part of these committees. You don't need to apply. You don't need to be chosen to be a part of these committees. You just have to be an SBC student and care about your fellow students. And that's something he did that I was so happy about seeing. I was so happy to see this in my inbox. I was so happy that he gave everyone an opportunity. All you had to do is just reply to the email, and if you could come to the meetings, then great. You're a part of student government. You're a part of creating a better, more inclusive place for our school. And I think that's just something that's so great. And I'd like to improve upon and further expand the inclusiveness of our school.
Thank you. Charlotte?
So, Dylan, I want to thank you because you've done an amazing job. I've met you 2 weeks ago, and I was impressed. The first ASG meeting I came, I was like, wow, this guy is doing a great job. He's going to leave some big shoes to fill. One of the stuff that you've done that is amazing to me is first this debate. It's our first debate, candidate debate, and I think it's really great, like, to see all the students that show up today and came to listen to us. It's really amazing. Then you started this monthly newsletter that let students know about their student senate and letting them know what's happening. And we need to do that. We need to, because as you said, so many students don't know what is a student senate. They're like, what is the ASG? What is it? What is it doing? So we need to keep doing that work. We need to keep letting students know about it, letting them know you can come to us, talk to us, we will listen to you, we will work on those issues that matters to you. So that's some of the stuff that I think you've done that are really great, and I want to keep doing. I want to keep doing that. I want, as I said in my platform, I want to reach out to students through email surveys, asking them what do they think about certain issues, and so yeah, that's it. Thanks.
And Christian?
Thank you. Yeah, I've got to know Dylan this past year, and he is one of the most hardworking individuals I've ever had the chance to meet. Countless hours are spent every single week on external committees, hiring committees, internal committees, whatever it is. I think his biggest accomplishment this year, and one that I was extremely supportive of, was the reforms that happened in ASG, both in terms of additional positions, those including marketing, academics, sustainability, fundraising, and philanthropy. I thought the marketing two positions that were added, one that's held by my running mate Matt, was extremely important. That's where the monthly newsletter came out. That's where the monthly video came out, and that's a trend I want to continue, getting information to the students. Besides that, the committee reforms that happened, where now commissioners would chair committees that were pertinent to their subject. As an example, I'm the academics commissioner, and I chaired the academics committee that dealt with establishing an academic grant for research and development for students here on campus. We're currently working on ASG scholarships. And we also deal with any kind of administrative policy that we feel is pertinent to our committee. And so recently we've been working on academic integrity. It's AP 5550. The campus-wide committee on academics was trying to push new policies in regards to what warranted cheating. Those policies were crazy, the scope of them. It basically meant that you couldn't, once you walked out of a test and your friend asked you what you got on number 3, you can't respond to them, or that was cheating. So that came to us. We immediately responded by drafting up a resolution of what we thought needed to be fixed on that resolution. And I sit on the AP committee now, and we're working with them to try to incorporate our ideas into the administrative policies so that students' voices are heard. Process here on SBCC. Thank you.
Okay, so the order for this one is going to be Charlotte, Christian, Imran, and then Zora. If student officers voted on an on-campus issue in a meeting and the outcome resulted in a tie, how would you advise the group to come to a solution without being biased?
As I just said, like just in the question before, I want to hear students' voice. So I think we should, in that case, we should reach out to students and be like, we've been discussing this issue. We cannot decide on it. It's concerning. You guys are the ones that are concerned. So I think we should ask students and send them a campus-wide email with a poll asking them, what do you think of that issue? And the student would be the one deciding in the end, not us, not the officers. And I think it's really important that we start to reach out to students again, because, I mean, there is no point in having an ASG if it's just us and nobody knows about it and we just decide what we think is best for students. We should really decide with the student. This is a student body, something for the student, by the student. So, that's good.
Really quickly, since you still have a minute left, I'm just going to ask a elaboration question. If you were to send out an email to get student input, how long of a period of time would you give students to respond, and how would you collect the responses?
So I would use Google survey. I've crafted a survey actually for the food services. It hasn't been sent yet, but asking them how much they would be willing to spend on vegan food, that kind of stuff. Like, would you like to see more vegan options? What is something that's missing on campus for you when it comes to food? So Google survey, I think, are a good way. And I would leave just a week, because I think if they hadn't responded by a week, after a week, it's like they're not going to respond. So I would send them an email, say, you have 7 days. We consult you on this matter. You have 7 days to answer the survey, and at the end, we're going to decide on it. You're more than letting them know they're more than welcome to come to our meeting and letting their voice being heard, because we want to hear our student. I think all of us. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I completely agree. I think that even before a tie were to occur, that we need to start making more decisions based on data. Too often in ASG, it's the same people with the same opinions, and those opinions are bouncing back off the wall to each other. And we sometimes get bubbled up in there and don't reach out to the rest of the students when we really should be. A lot more decisions need to be based on data, need to be based on interviews, surveys from the students before we even start up here on campus. But if it did get to the point where we've done all that and we've adequately gotten students' input on the issue and it still ended up being a tie, I would encourage members to try to take a week to think about it, to think about the decision, and to try to realize, would it be better to do nothing on this, or would it be better to have some kind of action and some kind of response to an issue? The chair is allowed to break a tie, in a case of a tie is allowed to break it. I would only use that power if I felt extremely passionately about the issue, and typically if I felt extremely passionate about an issue, I don't think it would be in that much of a contention. Most of the things I support are things most of the people here on this stage support, and most of the people you in the audience support. The decision-making process needs to be one that's incorporating the most people. And so because of that, I think what we're doing in terms of committees and adding non-ASG members to those and listening to them and allowing them to vote and allowing
15 seconds.
Allowing them to vote and allowing them to have a real say on what's going on here on campus is going to allow the ASG to have a more holistic perspective on what you, the students, actually want us to do.
Yeah, I think all three of us agree. I think it's about the students. The student government should be about the students, and even before this meeting takes place, I think it should be about what the students want. And I think the students should shape the policy. I don't think we or any of the officers on the student government should have any more power than they need. We should prove our legitimacy by listening to the students. And it's all about you guys. So first of all, I would listen to the students' opinion. And if this were to ever happen, we should just take a poll amongst the students, and the majority of the students, that's what we should do.
Okay, so since you have another minute, I will elaborate on your response since it's similar to the other ones. If you didn't have time to go out and do a student outreach, how would you resolve the tie? Would you how would you resolve the tie if you could not go out for student outreach and the decision had to be made by the end of that meeting?
In that case, we'd have to have the Senate they have to make a decision, or nothing happens. So if that ever happens where something needs to be done by midnight, then either we reach a majority decision or we don't do anything at all.
All of my fellow candidates, is this on? Yeah. All my fellow candidates have basically expressed the same thing, and I totally agree that when resulting in a tie, we should ask for the student body's opinion. But I think the real issue here is that we're waiting for the student's opinion as an afterthought. We should not be making decisions without already thinking about the student opinion. It should not be a last minute as needed basis to ask the students for their input. I think, how can we promote transparency if we're not already going to tell them what we're going to be voting on in ASG and getting their input already before that? I don't understand how that's not considered to be inclusive. Officers and the student government, they already feel, I feel like, included because they're already a part of something that's bigger than themselves. I believe that we need a fresh perspective on student government, someone who doesn't see the campus through the eyes of a person who's already an ASG member, who sees that there needs to be so much more improvement, who sees that their opinions are probably much different or are not totally opinion. And so I just think that we do need to get the student's opinion right away prior to making any decisions.
All right, so the order for this last question before we get into some personal subjects will be Zora, Charlotte, Christian, then Imran. Who do you view as the most influential historical figure and why?
That's a difficult question. I would have to say probably Gandhi, because I feel like this is a very kind of easy go-to. Gandhi is amazing, but I'm a little nervous just because I care so much about all of you. I just really want our school to be great. And I think that Gandhi just represents everything that we should promote. We should promote and accept, like a place of inclusiveness, of acceptance, where everyone just can feel like they belong, like a school that just you can be proud to be a part of. You can be proud to be a Vakiro. You can just be so proud to go here. Just because it's a 2-year school doesn't mean it has to be someplace you just go for 2 years and then leave. A lot of people are here for more than 2 years. A lot of people, this is their only higher education they're going to be able to attend, their only higher education they'll be able to afford. And so you want them to feel like they were a part of something that was greater than themselves. And right now, even though we're trying so hard to be more inclusive, we're not. We need to do more. We need to have more people.
Thank you. Charlotte?
That's a very, very, very tough question. Thank you for starting, because I honestly, I don't know how to answer it, because, I'm going to blank on this one. I'm very sorry. I was going to say, the first thing that came to my mind was like Einstein, and I was like, that's not appropriate. I'm sorry, I'm a science girl, and that's not what you guys expect tonight. And I could not wrap my mind around something else, so I'm very sorry about this.
Okay. Thank you, anyways. Christian?
In 1929, the United States experienced the worst depression in its history, and out of that came one of the best presidents that we've had, and that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He believed that the power of the federal government could be used to assist the citizens when, at that time, laissez-faire economics and conservative economic theory was saying it was mostly up to you, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps and get on with it, figure it out. He thought that the federal government had a role in improving the lives of all the citizens. He fought to improve the power of unions. He created the Social Security Administration in 1935. He revamped the banking system for millions of young people who were unemployed at the time. FDR symbolizes exactly what I want ASG to be. I want ASG to be an institution that supports not only the students, but other student institutions here on campus, clubs, organizations like the Ambassadors, Student Equity Committee, Wellness Connection. I want ASG to be able to be some place that any institution or student can come to get the resources they need in order to further their goals here on campus, in order to incubate their passions and their dreams and allow those to flourish here. And so I believe that ASG can be a catalyst for all of this. It's going to require students to participate, students to believe, It's going to require ASG to work hard to get your guys' trust and support.
15 seconds.
But to wrap it up, FDR believed that government could be used for more than it was used at the time. And I believe that our ASG has more potential and can reach a broader amount of students. Thank you.
Imran?
Well, I thought of Einstein as well because I'm a math guy. But as far as the most influential historical figure, someone who I can think of who influenced the world is Muhammad Ali. Just not only as a great athlete, but to be a young, black, outspoken man in America, stand up to the Vietnam War, lose your job, fight in front of the world, and win and lose and do it with humility and grace. And I know I grew up in Pakistan and everyone knows who Muhammad Ali is. They might not know who the president is, but they know who Muhammad Ali is. And everyone in the world knows him and they know him for good reason. He's someone who stood up for what he believed in and literally fought for it. So that's who I think is the most influential figure in history.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's going to wrap up the questions that we have for all of you. We have one individual question for each of you that only that one person is going to be answering. So we're going to start with you, Imran. So this question is regarding the new proposed fee change. It's not going to appear on the screen because I just came up with it right now. If the fee change does end up getting approved, what are your plans for what you would use that extra $4 for to benefit the students?
That's when we add up the money, that's a lot of money that the student government has, and we can use it on a lot of things. Certainly, I would support the clubs. I think the clubs are a core part of our student body. I mean, they do amazing work, and I would certainly support them as much as I can. As far as I need to supply food, like the pizza you guys are eating here, and all that. And I would also set up more events. I think we need more events like this where you guys show up and even if it might not be the most engaging debate, but it's important that we all come together and we listen to what we think, other students think, and just bring us together. That's my main goal. If we can all come together and make decisions of what we want as students, then we can make a real difference. I mean, forget about who's president, who's student trustee. It doesn't matter. If we're all taking part in this, that's the main goal. So I would spend the money organizing events, listening to students. If students want access to the gym and the basketball court, that's what we should have. I mean, we shouldn't be going and paying $200 to join Gold's Gym downtown when we have a perfectly functional gym here. Books. I mean, books are expensive. I don't even buy math books anymore. I just do it on my own. But, I mean, we need more scholarship grants. We have to support the Promise program. It's a beautiful program that the CC has. And we need to support our students and bring them together. So that's what I'll be giving the money towards.
Thank you.
Charlotte. So in the spring of 2016, I was marketing coordinator of the Vegan Club. In fall of 2016, I was the president of the Vegan Club for almost a year. I love the veggie burgers you can get on East Campus or West Campus cafeteria. There's a lot of salad bars everywhere you go. You can get tofu bowls at the fake Chipotle, I call it. I was just wondering what more you plan on bringing and what's wrong with the options we already have.
Okay, I love your question because that's something that matters a lot to me. So on the east side of campus, we have like no options. Like the only thing the vegans can eat are the vegan cookie and the vegan brownie. There are some salads, but it's always very tricky. It's like, do you know if this is vegan or if this is not vegan? And so, you know, if you're really strict about it, you end up often not choosing the salad. So I would like to bring more vegan option on the other side, on the west side of campus, and a better signalization, like that's vegan, you can go, it's safe. At the fake Chipotle, they don't always have the tofu. I went last time, they didn't have tofu, they had veggies. They often cook them on the same grill as at the one that is used for meat. We can cause cross-contamination issues for students. Like if you don't eat meat, I know it could make me sick, and I'm really stressed about it, so I don't go anymore to the fake Chipotle. We have a vegan chef at on this side of campus at the East Cafeteria. She's doing an amazing job. I was just talking to her today. Her name is Monica. She's making vegan curry, coconut rice. Those stuff are delicious. I'm telling my friends, go try vegan food. This is really good. This is a good one, if you want to try vegan food. But she's telling me she's been trying to push for more vegan options. And she's been running into some issues with her boss not really being is that really what students want? So I would really like to bring even more vegan options, better signalization, vegan options at the salad bar, and try to also reduce the cost of the food currently.
Thank you. I love that mission of yours, by the way.
Okay, so this question is for Zora. So we had a question previously about juggling responsibilities as being student president and how punctuality is a big key factor in being president. You said that you would be a good candidate for managing your time, but last week, me and one of the channel's photographers were writing a story on the debates. I actually interviewed every candidate that's going to be in the debate and wrote an individual profile on every single one of them. A couple of people couldn't make it, so I did reschedule and do interviews with them later. But for you, you actually didn't get back to me until 3 days after I already published the article. So I just wanted to know how you plan on combating your punctuality skills based on that experience.
Okay, well, thank you for that question, first of all. And I would first like to address that I reached out to you at first, right when I could not attend the obligation for the interview. And you responded to me over that weekend, and I was unfortunately out of town. I did not have things with me to respond to you, and I came back right here on the Monday, and I responded to you as quickly as I could, and I believe that that article was published on that Monday, and I responded to you the following morning, and so that was not a 3-day time period. But regardless of that, I would just like to mention that right now, I am working a job. I'm involved with a lot of different activities, and I am a very busy person, and I try my absolute best to get back to people in a timely manner. But next year, I will not be working a job as student president. My job will be student president. I will not be a part of athletics because I want to put my full heart and my full focus on the student body. And right now, I'm in a lot of units. I'm in 17 units, and that's a lot for a person who's also working a job. So, I have a lot of demands, and I'm just trying to work with them the best I can. And they've taught me through these demands, I've learned how to manage myself and manage my time. And next year, I'm going to put student government as my number one priority. I'm ready to transfer next year. And so my number one priority will be student government.
Very good response. Thank you so much. Okay, so this question's for you, Christian. Since you're already on the student government, I thought this would apply more to you. I know that the student government and a lot of other institutions do receive criticism from outside groups, whether it be single students or other groups on campus. For example, I do have a story in the channels where students have been commenting. It was actually the story where the channels is on board with the student government increasing the fee. There's 2 comments here, and I'm just going to read them both to you. Honestly, why do we need a student government? It seems like it's just a group of people LARPing and discovering new ways to demand more funding. Another comment is actually from a previous ASG officer. They don't need more money. They need to stop paying themselves to do volunteer job, first of all. I passed a state law and never asked the students to fund it. SBCC is going downhill fast, and those are your representatives. Good luck with that. So these are just a couple of examples of bad criticisms, and I'm not saying that the ASG is bad. A lot of people receive outside criticisms. I just want to know how you would respond if people were to come up to you as president and give you those criticisms, and what steps you would take to combat them.
Right, no, for sure. And I think regarding that first comment, that saddens me because I think that that student just doesn't realize the amount of work that every officer has to put in each week and the amount of things that we're doing in order to ensure that the students here get a fair shot and get their voices heard on all these all these campus-wide committees. Countless times, I've been the only members and administrators where they can't even come up with a perspective that would even be close to one that the students have. It's up to that one ASG member to voice the concerns of all 15,000 of you to make sure that administrative policies aren't being passed where you can't even tell your friend what you got on number 3 right after you took the test because that's considered cheating. Ridiculous things like that where if one of us wasn't there to address that, it would have passed. No one had second thoughts about that. That was going to go from Academic Policies Committee to the Academic Senate with zero opposition to it from anyone. It's extremely important that we have a student government to represent the students on these internal governance committees. But further than that, it's important because we need to support the vast amount of diverse clubs that we have here on campus. I think clubs are the interest groups of our school. There where people can get involved, meet friends, get more engaged on campus. Clubs produce amazing events, host amazing educational nights. That second comment, it was a concern. The stipends were a huge problem. I would say that I was personally swayed by the appeal that David was talking about, that it would allow more low-income students to be able to serve on the ASG. That was my own personal belief. Then as I started talking to students, I realized, wait a minute, this isn't what the majority of students want. This isn't what you guys don't want us to be paid stipend. So referendum to be sent down for you guys to decide whether or not ASG should have stipends or not. Immediately hearing the blowback from my constituents, I voted against the budget authorization to allow the stipends. And currently, I'm opposed to any further action regarding this item until a select committee has been set up to comprehensively gather the views of all the students here, conduct interviews, surveys, polls, figure out what you guys actually think on this issue before we move forward at all. But I guess it comes down to letting people know what we're doing. It comes back to this transparency problem, and the way to fix that is to increase our resources in the marketing committee and allow students to participate in the governing process. Because if students are participating, then we'll have less of that transparency problem because students are going to be already there. And so there's nothing we need to inform them of because they already have the information needed to make an educated decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to have another little intermission, and then we're going to ask all the candidates to come on stage so we can ask them the questions that the audience have provided for us.
5 minutes.
Okay, all right, well, that
is for the student trustee, and I'm choosing Parker to answer it. What do you know about the current deficit at SBCC, and what would you do to assist the Board of Trustees with student feedback?
So the main issue with our deficit is the fact that we've had a decrease in students enrolled. A couple years ago, we had almost 20,000 students. Now we have 13,000 students. That's the real reason that our deficit has gone down. And our Board of Trustees recently increased tuition for international and out-of-state students. That's not the correct approach. The problem is since we keep increasing tuition on out-of-state and international students, they go home, they tell their friends not to come here. That decreases overall enrollment. What we should do is short-term dramatically lower tuition costs to encourage more students to come here and then gradually re-raise them so that those students who are here can gradually adapt to the higher tuition. But what we need is more students enrolled here at City College, and that's the best way to address the deficit.
Okay, so this is also for the trustees, so I'm going to give this one to you, David. As an honorary member at SBCC, how do you plan on executing this position with professionalism as well as representing the students and the Board of Trustees?
I think that with professionalism comes a sort of composure. And there have been times, and I think my opponent made that clear with a Facebook post, a characterization that there's a lack of composure. But I would ask all the students, including those in the audience, to know where this passion, what I call it, comes from. And it comes from representing the students. My views on the national level is that we have 43 million people living in poverty. 20%, in the richest country in the history of the world, 20% of our children live in poverty. And so the passion comes from the pain and the marginalization of other people. As far as the students, raising tuition on students that can't afford to feed themselves. There's students here that are homeless. I think that there needs to be strength. So I don't think that it should be taken personally. I know there have been times that people have told me that, you know, maybe they have taken things personally, but I would say no. It's not really personal. We are representatives. We represent students, and the passion and the representation should reflect the will and the sometimes even pain of the students.
Thank you. Now, okay, well, this one is going to be for Parker. What is the process to introduce a board policy to the Board of Trustees?
Well, relatively simple. You introduce that at a meeting, but the student trustee doesn't have access to all the board meetings, so they can only sit on the open meetings, not the closed meetings. And I think that's something that we should probably start to address. We should work with the ASG here so that they have more opportunity to introduce bills for the Board of Trustees. And if we can make it so the student trustee has the same footing, where they have full voting power and have access to the closed door meetings, that would be best.
Thank you. All right, so we're just going to get started with President while we sort all the VP questions out. The first question will be for Christian. You've all mentioned the importance of clubs. Could you tell us a little bit about the importance of the ICC?
Of course. The ICC Interclub Council is ran by the Commissioner of Clubs. Their job is basically to bind together all the presidents or leaders of every club here on campus in order to further their common goals that they have. Like Dylan pointed out, there's an Amendment C being introduced that would elevate that body into the ASG and granting them legislative powers. This is a huge step in the right direction. I think clubs need to get the respect they deserve. They need to have the power that they deserve. And clubs and club presidents represent so many students and a vastly diverse set of ideals. But if they can agree on common initiatives and common goals, I think the ICC is a great place to bring students together and to improve upon the work that ASG does and bring new ideas and new perspectives into the governing process. So I think that ICC needs to move in a direction to where it's not just a meeting every month. It's a meeting with a common goal, with common themes, where students, where these presidents and leaders going back to their clubs and telling them, hey, we need to support this club or that club. There needs to be a sense of solidarity there. Everybody needs to kind of work together, because you guys are all trying to do the same thing. You're trying to get more engaged on campus. I want to foster an environment here that you guys want to stick around after your class is over. There's a concert tonight that we're putting on, or there's an event that looks really cool. I want people to want to be here after hours, to want to be engaged with your fellow students. And I think the clubs is where that starts.
Thank you, Christian.
Okay, this question is for Zora. What will you do, if elected, to improve student academic success?
I think that an important part of academic success is making the library open 24/7. If we increase the student fee for more dollars, we could potentially have the library open 24/7 this year. I know that not everyone is fortunate enough to live in a place where it's stress-free, a place where they can study all night, a place where they can put in the hours it takes to be a dedicated student, to attend CC and to excel here. So I believe first and foremost we need to make a library that accepts people from all hours of the night, because we have a lot of times where you need to spend all night studying, and you might have roommates who are not okay with the lights being on. You might have a family environment that's not healthy, it might be too stressful to be home. Try to focus on your schoolwork. To be a better student, we need that to be implemented. We also need to lower textbook fees. I know that several times I've just not bought the textbook simply because it's too expensive. I've just decided, you know what, I can borrow someone's textbook. I can find the internet, the answers on the internet. Do I need a textbook? When things are hundreds of dollars, it's hard to afford. So we can implement other things like better textbook recycling. When you finish a textbook that you bought from the school store for $80, $90, $100 and return it for $3, $4, that's absolutely ridiculous. Students can't afford to go to a school that does not foster their education by trying to give students the help they need.
Thank you. The next question's for Imran. If elected president, what legacy do you want to leave behind at SBCC and why?
The legacy I want to leave behind, if I do leave one, will be to the way the ASG is viewed by the students and the participation. To be 100% honest, I don't know how many students actually participate in the student government. I was heartened to see the amount of students that even showed up for this debate. But I'm going to make sure that if I'm elected after however many terms I serve, that the student government has become more involved with students. So if 10 people participate today, by the end of my term, I want 100 people to participate. That's what my goal is. I think the student government should be solely a representative for the students. They should shape policy. They should shape however they want to be governed. That's the way it should be. I think I hold that view for government at a national level and international level. So that's my view. I don't think we should have any more power than we need, and all the power should be in the hands of the students. So that's the legacy I want to leave behind for the student government. More students involved, more students heard, more students making decisions together. So that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, and this one's for Charlotte. What do you plan to do on week 1 of your presidency if you're elected?
Week 1, I will reach out to students, be like, hey, I've been elected, guys. It's time to let me know, you and nobody else. I want to hear from you. Let me know what you want me to do for you. Please come, show up. And help us improve SBCC all together. Then I'll meet with the people. As you may know, the library is one of my main points. It's on my platform. I've met with Elizabeth Bowen, the director of the library. I've already met with her, asked her how much it would cost to keep, it would cost $3,000 per night to keep the library open 24/7. So I'm already, I'm ready. I'm like, I want to go for it. Like week one, I'm meeting with those people, and I'm like, let's start something together. Let's bring all those projects. Let's start them. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to VP of External Affairs. Tamara, do you have a solid plan for your position next year? Explain.
Well, yes, I have a plan. So my plan, first of all, is I know like people right now I've been talking a lot about international student and forget about the in-state student. So my plan is to be more open about like how students can know about the ASG, about how they can find, how they can seek help in campus, like where they can go, how they can get information if they need anything. Yeah, I want to be, my plan is like to be, to create like a program that is open for students where they can come the campus and like, yeah, sorry.
Okay, this one's for Maite. What California legislation currently being debated will most impact SBCC?
So right now, the most current one, wait, sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
What California legislation currently being debated will impact SBCC most?
So as my opponent has said, the feminine hygiene products being installed in the bathrooms is one of the most important, one being I'm a woman and I have difficulties finding these things at school. It's very hard for me to access. And I just feel like this is one of the most important things, or not important, but one of the most influential things that will be very great for CC to have next year, or maybe even sooner. Sorry.
Matt, the same question goes to you, but you can't say the same thing.
Well, I love state politics, as I said before. Right now, actually, Assemblywoman Monique Limon, she gave this wonderful presentation a couple weeks ago called Degrees Not Debt. And literally what that package is, and it actually, okay, there's a certain percentage that I can't remember right now. Okay, sorry. But it stops it so private companies that are offering loans, they can't offer they can't ask for more money than a federal loan. So I believe it was at 20% before, but now they're both at 15. So let's say you get let's say you're done with college and you get a job and you got some loans you have to pay to these companies. All across the board, all of them have to, you can pay 15%. That's the maximum. Does that make sense? Is that good? Okay, sorry. All right, thank you. Yeah, and I think that's great.
Okay, so for this one, I'm going to give it as a free-for-all. I've been a little harsh on a couple of you, so you might want to answer this one. Do you think the Channels does an effective job of covering the ASG? I cover the ASG. Zora can start because I was harsh on her the most.
Oh, was it Zora? Oh.
Okay, well, no, I appreciate definitely you making sure that I can support myself as a president that arrives to things on time, replies to people. But I definitely appreciate the channels of how they've kind of been like the critique behind student government a lot of times. They've made sure that that the student government is acting correctly, is doing things that really represents the people. Like when I was preparing for this debate, I was doing a lot of research and reading a lot of articles published by the channels, and I think they did a great job keeping the government in line. And I think it's really important that the media plays an important part, definitely, of making sure government's in line, not only student government, but in federal government. And so I think you've done a good job in that sense.
Thank you. I'm going to give it to David next. David?
So I think that you have done a fantastic job so far. The thing that I like the articles that you've written about the gender-neutral restrooms. I think that journalism and media should be a magnifying glass on positions of power, not only with the ASG, but also with the Board of Trustees. I mean, in every level of media lacks the magnifying glass on the real issues. The one thing, if elected, that I would like to do is actually work with the channels to I guess expose is a good word, the policies that may affect students negatively. The $31 or $30-something tuition raise, I think many students didn't know that. In addition to that, I think that one of the areas that the channels can improve is to open its network. This includes the ASG. We have 14,000 students on this campus. I think many people don't know the ASG or the channels. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. Yeah.
Thank you.
And one last, oh wait, do you want to go?
I would
Yeah,
like to
okay,
say
sorry.
something, yeah. I say that you guys do a great job, and I job today. So, and really, if you read the channels, I don't know, great stories. I mean, they do crimes on campus. I didn't even know about half of the stuff happening on campus, but I mean, they cover everything. If one thing I'd like to see them do more is cover more students. I think we have amazing students here who have amazing stories. I mean, the students here who work, I don't know how many hours, go to school, have kids, or maybe homeless. I mean, we have some extraordinary people on campus. So I want to see more stories about us. Just any student you walk by today might have an amazing story. And I mean, I've been lucky to have friends who are so strong and amazing. So, but you guys do a great job at covering stories. And if you've seen any of our candidate pictures, they do a good job at taking pictures as well.
Parker, why do you attack David and say he doesn't have mind slinging, a tactic of old politics? I thought this was a debate to show and tell and elaborate why you're suitable for the position, not why your opponent is not.
That's a reasonable critique. What I think is important still is we should still expose what candidates believe in. I mean, if you want to go on my social media profiles and look at whatever I've posted, go right for it and share it all. But I think is important is everybody should understand what candidates do in fact believe in. I mean, that's only fair. I mean, to say that exposing what somebody actually believes in is mudslinging is just incorrect. It would be mudslinging if I lied about what he said, right? But all I did was say what happened, the truth that the entire international community has found out has occurred, and then said David disagrees with this and believes in something that, according to everybody, is a conspiracy theory and is not true. So that's not mudslinging, that's just simply exposing the truth. And I think that's completely reasonable.
So since that was a aimed question, you can give it to David to respond.
I think that that question was a good question because what my opponent didn't do is put it in the context of where that was coming from. Initially what one would think is David's a little Assad terrorist coming to infiltrate SVCC, right? I mean based on the highlights, but it actually comes from a place that we have millions of people in poverty. How can we afford to spend $500,000, but we can afford to repeal the ACA? We can afford to make students pay higher tuition. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense. And furthermore, I think that the international community also said that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, and they were wrong. He did not have weapons of mass destruction. And what that led to was 1 million Iraqis, according to a Lancet study, 1.7 million Iraqis dying on a false claim. But the entire international community agreed with that false claim. So I think it needs to be placed in context. We need to stand up for working people. We can't be standing up for a military-industrial complex, Boeing, ExxonMobil. I mean, that's not what we're about. We have a lot of people that are struggling, and I think we need to help them out. Thank you.
We're going to give Parker 1 minute to respond to that and then close this thing out.
So first of all, it's an improper comparison between 2002, 2003 in the Iraq War and dictator Bashar al-Assad's strike against civilians. I'm absolutely in agreement. I don't support the war in Iraq. None of my family supports the war in Iraq, and they're military family. We disagree with it. But there is a huge difference. I mean, if you watch video of Colin Powell's testimony in 2002 at the UN, there's clear video of many people in the international community not agreeing with it. I mean, that's a fact. That's established. But this is different. This is 2 countries in the world have decided the Idlib province. Those 2 countries are Russia, which just interfered in our election and attempted to elect Donald Trump. The other country is Syria, and you can understand why they're trying to deny that they didn't attack civilians. That's completely different. We did not have an international coalition go into Iraq. It was a couple Western European countries, mostly entirely
10
NATO,
seconds.
though. That's completely different. This is an entirely different situation.
Thank you. So just to wrap up really quickly, I just want to thank you all for coming. You are all very intelligent people.
Please give them a round of a
hand.
Round of applause.
Sorry.
Round of applause. A round of a hand. And please give a round of applause to our beautiful moderators.
They're applauding us.
Thank you to our advisors. You guys have a special place in my heart. Thank you to the rest of the ASG. Thank you to our IT people. And if you're still up for it, there is a poetry slam going on. Where is it? No, there's a poetry slam right now. Breaking Bread. Where is it? Where? In the library. There's free bread. There's poetry. If you're still up for it.
Hashtag 420.
And I just wanted to remind everyone that we will be endorsing candidates in an editorial that we'll be publishing tomorrow. So if you're wondering what we think about this election, read the channels in the morning. Thank you.